Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Big Blonde and Beautiful, the podcast. If you're new here, my name's Kara Howie, and each week I pick a piece of media that has fat representation in it, and I talk about whether or not I think it's positive or negative. Also, I do have eyeliner on. It does not look like, it just looks like I have brown. But note to self, don't wear this look again for the podcast. But this week, we are going to be talking about the movie Fried Green Tomatoes. I know it's also a book, but I have never read the book, so specifically I'm going to be talking about the movie. And I know that there's a lot of differences between the movie and the book, so I just wanted to preface it by saying that. Like I said, we're going to be talking about Fried Green Tomatoes, specifically the character of Evelyn Couch from that movie. If you've never seen the movie, no worries, I'm going to give a little synopsis right now. Alright. On one of trapped housewife Evelyn Couch's Wednesday nursery home visits, she encounters Ninny Threadgood, a colorful old woman who brightens Evelyn's outlook by sharing tales from the past. As Ninny recounts the exploits of her free-spirited sister-in-law Iggy, owner of a small Alabama cafe in the 1920s, and the bond Iggy shared with her friend Ruth, Evelyn gains the confidence to change her own life for the better. Now a little bit about who Evelyn Couch is. Evelyn Couch is the fat character in this film. She is played by the incredible Kathy Bates, an icon. Evelyn is a timid and sheltered woman before she meets Ninny. She is constantly fighting a one-sided battle for her marriage and numbing her feelings with an endless string of chocolate bars. So I want to get a few things out of the way before we really dive into this movie. First of all, like I said, the movie depiction is, as far as I know, very different from the book. I know that there is supposed to be more of an obvious lesbian love story between Iggy and Ruth. They like hint at it, but I think like if you're going to make a movie based off of a book with queer love in it, do it right, you know? Like why pick that book if you're not going to honor the characters? The depiction of the black characters in this movie, I realize it's the 1920s, but it's giving more the 1820s. I don't know. It just like, I know it's the South, so that's probably why. But I don't know, something about it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Moving on, now we're going to talk about Evelyn Couch. First, I want to talk about her name. I'm curious, and the more I think about it, the more I think I'm right, that the last name Couch was a deliberate pick for this character in the way that, like, oh, we know she's fat, but we're going to add on to it and make her last name Couch to just really, like, drive home the point. I don't know. I don't think that that was necessary at all. And I couldn't find any articles to confirm or deny that the reason why her last name is Couch is because she's fat. But I have a sneaking suspicion that that is exactly the reason why she has that last name. All right, let's get into Evelyn's marriage. Now, it's often depicted in films with fat characters that this fat character is unlovable. They can't find love unless they lose the weight. That kind of happens in this movie a little bit. So, Evelyn's husband Ed is also fat. I don't know. I think that's kind of significant because people really like to pair fat actors with fat actresses. I don't know why it's so like crazy that fat people don't always end up with other fat people, but it is apparently to Hollywood. Ed, all about himself. He's in his own world. He goes to work. He comes home. He enjoys the nice clean house that his wife has made for him. He enjoys the meal that she's made for him. And then he sits down, watches sports, and ignores her. So it is very much a loveless marriage, and it is unfortunate. There are a few instances, especially in the first half of the film, where Evelyn is put down because of her weight or her age. She's called a fat cow, an old bitch, and given dirty looks. So it's not like a horrible amount of fat phobia, especially compared to other films we've talked about. But, it's still there. And that combined with her husband's lack of interest in her and just their marriage as a whole really brings Evelyn to her boiling point. And that's when Ninny's stories about Iggy and Ruth really saved the day. Luckily, a story about Iggy and one little word helps Evelyn break out of this funk. And that word is towanda. The significance of this word is that in the story, Iggy introduces herself as Towanda, an Amazonian woman, just once, but the reason behind it is it's meant to be like a word that makes you feel powerful. So Evelyn starts using the word Towanda to help with different aspects of her life. When she does this, she starts taking back what's hers and going for what she wants. Things like she wanted a wall knocked down in her house, and she was like, Towanda, and she just and broke down the wall. A healthier diet, a husband that's present in their marriage and their life. Her hair and her clothing changes. The only thing I don't love about this is it feels like Towanda gave her the bravery to do a lot of things. There's even a scene where she gets pissed off at some young girls who, I think they're the ones that call her an old bitch, and they steal a parking spot that she was obviously going into. She rams her car in and keeps saying Towanda. It's crazy. But it seems like for the rest of her life, she uses the word Towanda to help motivate her to change her diet or exercise or just care about herself. I really think that's what's lacking. And the thing that I hate is how Hollywood depicts caring about yourself and equates it with thinness, because that puts the message out there that fat people don't care about themselves. They need some type of motivation to finally care about themselves. And that is not at all true. I love myself and I care about myself, but I'm still fat. There are many reasons why people are fat, and it's also none of your business. So I just wish that her character didn't feel like she had to lose weight to feel good about herself and to love herself. And I'm not saying, obviously, that there's anything wrong with losing weight or changing your diet, as long as it's for the right reasons. I'm glad that this does make her happier. I just wish that she was able to find happiness prior to making these types of changes, because I think it also puts the narrative in our heads that if you're a fat person, you've heard this or felt this your whole life, where if you lose the weight, you will love yourself, you will love your body, you will no longer have these horrible thoughts about how you look. And that's simply not true. I've seen plenty of real life examples where people have lost the weight and they still feel like they are in that fat body. And I feel like a big part of that is that they didn't learn to love themselves where they were at before they got to where they wanted to be. Losing the weight is not necessarily going to fix your mentality. You just have to learn to love yourself at any stage, because no one is perfect. And I just hate that this movie kind of perpetuates that narrative. Yeah, I just wish that Evelyn was able to, I like how she takes back her marriage and is like, you need to pay more attention to me. I've been going to these classes trying to make myself more desirable, and you're not doing anything. You're not putting any effort into this marriage. All you care about is coming home to eat and watch sports. You do not care about me or any part of our marriage. I just wish that we could have seen her loving and caring about herself prior to losing weight, which it's not a significant loss, but, still very much implied. So, is this fat representation positive or negative? I've really been putting off filming this because I'm on the fence. But if I had to pick, I think I'm gonna have to go with negative, solely because there's, the classic I eat my feelings scenes, which not every fat person is an emotional eater. Some of us are. I've gone through that. But guess what? Not everyone is. Okay? And also because she, like I just stated, she doesn't love herself until she starts to exercise and lose weight. She doesn't take care of herself or take pride in who she is. She's very down on herself until she hears these stories and finally, something clicks and she's like, I need to start living my life more like them. But I think negative is my final answer on that. I was on the fence simply because I don't think that it's a horrible fat representation, especially compared to others. But if I had to think about my desired representation on screen, this is not quite it. So that's what I'm gonna have to go with. Alright, everyone. Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode. I really hope that you enjoyed it. You can follow us on social media on TikTok at bbb.thepodcast and Instagram at bbb.podcast. I have lots more information on upcoming episodes over on our Instagram. I also have a highlight, like a story highlight, that has a bunch of size-inclusive brands on it, and I post new ones every Friday, so definitely check that out. What else? Oh, you can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Carolina Howie. And I'm really excited for next week. We're going to be talking about a movie that I cannot wait to get into. You guys are not going to want to miss this one. And I have an amazing guest who is a plus size influencer, a very successful plus size influencer. So I'm very excited to have her on. And yeah, so make sure you check out next week's episode. And until next time, stay fat and fabulous. Bye.